Hi, so this is part 2 of our Mona Lisa tutorial. So we've already given her crazy hair. We have a new layer for that. What I'm going to do next is add another image to this picture. So to do that, I'm going to go to Google, and a hat is a really good thing to give the kids the challenge to do. So I'm just going to type in honor of the Seahawks win last night. Seahawks hat. Alright, and then I'm going to pick one. What's really nice is that most of the first things that show up have a white background. I would be insistent for kids, as they do this the first time, that they pick something with a white background. We have announcements on the uniform. Alright, so some of these have, like this one has a shadow on it, so avoid the one with the shadow. Pick something that is just solid white background. So I'm going to pick this one, view image, right click, save image as, put it on my desktop, or you can save it to a particular folder, of course. And then open up Photoshop. So I go the same way I did my Mona Lisa. File, open, find the image that I want to open. In this case, it is the Seahawks hat. Now it didn't make my Mona Lisa go away. It just opened a second tab. So this one is my Seahawks tab. This one's my Mona Lisa tab. All right. What I need to do is I need to get this hat from here onto my Mona Lisa. To do that, there's a couple different ways to do it. I'm going to show you the complicated way first. Well, there's more than two ways, but the complicated way that I show the kids. I have them right-click on this lasso. So this is a lasso, it's the third key down. Right-click, and I'm going to use the magnetic lasso tool. So if I put my first click around the edge and follow around, it's going to try and sort of sticky. I'm tracing around the edge, but I don't have to be perfect with my tracing because, even though I went way out there, it comes back and it sticks to the edge. So you can get a pretty accurate cut around it. And then when I get back to the end, click on it or hit enter, and now I have like a little dotted snake line around it to show that it's selected. Now I made a little bit of a mistake right here. There are ways to correct that, but for this first lesson, let's not worry about those details. So this is now selected. A couple different ways I can do it. Classic way, edit, copy, and of course we're going to paste. So we'll click on our Mona Lisa, edit, and paste. Now it's right there. It's automatically on its own layer, so it's got another clear sheet. So if I hit move and try and move that around, it's just moving the hat. It's not messing with the hair or the Mona Lisa. Conveniently, this is a pretty good size already, but if it wasn't a good size, I could edit the size. So, edit. I'm going to go to free transform. If I want to keep the proportions constrained, I can hold the shift key down and pull on it, and it extends the size. Or if I want to stretch it out a little bit, I can do that. And then when it's where I want it to be, just hit enter, and it'll keep it there in place. So that's one way to add an image. But I'm going to show you the easier way. I'm going to just delete that layer, right-click on it, delete layer, or if you just click on that layer, click the delete key. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my Seahawks hat. It's selected, deselect. All right, the easier way to do this is if you go to your eraser tool, right here, right-click to see the other ones, and you hit Magic Eraser Tool or Background Eraser Tool. And since I picked one that has this lovely white background, I just do a single click, and you can see it's gone to my gray and white checkers, which means it's clear. That all disappeared, no tricky cutting around it, it's just gone. Now this can cause a problem if your image has a bunch of white in it also. It starts to delete things, parts of it that you didn't want it to delete, like it might have come into this seam and deleted part of this. If that happens, you can adjust the tolerance and do things to fix that. But for the purpose of this lesson plan, I would tell kids just go pick a different image if this isn't working for them. Again, there's no reason, you can do anything you want to with Photoshop, but you can start getting lost in the details. So if it's not working, just tell kids to pick a different image. Alright, so to get this from there to there, I can still do the same copy and paste, or I can drag this one down so that I can see both images. Click on my Move tool, very first button, and just drag it over and drop it on my picture. So there's always more than one way to do something. Edit, transform. I could go to the scale. I'm going to transform the scale. Same thing if I want to constrain proportions, hit shift. Last time I did free transform. Transform's the same thing. It's just one more click. So free transform sort of does everything. You can rotate it if you want to. Oh, normally you can rotate it, but since I just am changing scale, it won't let me rotate. Free transform will let you do all of that. So I've got my hat on one layer, I've got her hair on one layer, and I've got my background layer. One more thing I want to add is a football. So I go to Google. I'm going to click in football. Now, if I wanted to use the magic background eraser tool, I'd pick something with a white background because it's nice and quick and simple. But what if the football I really want is on a green background? Well, I can click on that and then I have to use that magnetic tool and cut it out. But I'm lazy. I want to use this one. So view image should take me there. Right click, save image as. Again, I'm just going to put it on my desktop so that it's easy for me to find. Photoshop, go back in there, File, Open, pick my picture off the desktop, and use my magic background eraser tool, drag this down, use my move tool, plop my football onto my picture, and I can get rid of that because I don't need it. Oh, so this is a perfect example. It cut out a part of my white on here. So you can see it cut out part of the white. So we'll hit Control-Alt-Z, and again, I would tell the kids to just pick a different one, but what we'll do is we'll flip it around. So I'll use my Move tool, close this, and don't need to save. I'm going to use my Move tool, and I'll go Edit, Free Transform, and I'm going to rotate that around so I can't see it. Drag it down. I'm going to make it smaller. Shift key and push it down. And then I'm going to set it down right on top of her hand. Hit Enter. I want it to look like she's holding it. So there's two different ways you can do that. The first way is to go back to the background layer, because the layer you want to work with, you have to be clicked on that layer. And since this football's in my way, I'm just going to turn it off so I can't see it. And it's still there, I just can't see it. And I'm going to use my Quick Select tool, and I'm going to draw right along the edge of her hand, and then come around arbitrarily, hit Enter, and I've now made a selection of that. Edit, copy, edit, go back to my football layer, edit, paste, and now her hand, that part that I just cut out, is sitting on top of the football, because you put a layer on top of a layer on top of a layer, so it's stacked it up. So now it looks like she's holding it. Another way to do that, click on that, delete, is to turn this football layer, change the opacity. So right now it's at 100%, I can see it. I'm going to make it a ghost layer. And then I'm going to zoom in by hitting Control+++. Same as other programs. Control+ zooms in, Control- zooms out. And then use that eraser tool over here, but instead of the magic eraser tool, I just want a standard old eraser tool. And I'll change my brush size to be a medium size. And then all I have to do is erase my football right along the edge of her hand. I'm doing this quickly, so it's not a very good job, but you'll get the idea. So I'm erasing the part of the football I don't want. Go back to this layer, turn the opacity back up. Oops, and then erase these other little parts that I left. And when I zoom out, Control-, we've got our Seahawks fan Mona Lisa. To save this, File, Save As, because I don't want to just replace that plain Mona Lisa file. I want to rename it, so I'm going to name it Mona Lisa Seahawks. And if I'm wanting to do more with it, I can save it as a Photoshop document. If I want to change that into something I can just print, I can go ahead and change that now to a JPEG, and it's just going to save it as a file right there on my desktop. And just click OK unless you want to change the resolution. Again, don't worry about getting into all those kind of details when you're first using it. And then here on my desktop, just like any other photo, I have my Mona Lisa. So that's a really quick run through. If you have questions, feel free to email me, or you can start using this idea in a million different ways. I've had kids build robots. I've had them mix up pictures of themselves. Of course, they love cutting out their head and putting it on someone else's head. Fun things like that. So many things you can do. So give it a try.